Hey, still running out of time. What's up, is a culture detective here investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm going to be doing the second review of the day, and that would be a double album review of two albums that I look forward to, but was kind of disappointed by. One of which is Clarence Clarity's Vanishing Act 2, Ultimate Reality, and the other is Machine Girl's MG Ultra. So, starting off, we have Clarence Clarity's new album, British pop producer, singer, songwriter. He's back with a new album. He's been working with a lot of great artists from Charlie XCX to A.G. Cook, I think. Anyways, like a whole decade ago, Clarence Clarity released No Now, which is still one of the best pop albums I've ever heard, and definitely one of the most important pop albums of the 2010s, in my opinion. We have No Now, his next album, Think Peace, also contains songs that are essentially sugary, overblown pop music, and very much a reaction to the mainstream pop music of the 2000s and the early 2010s. They're so quirky and eccentric and warped and distorted, it's extremely ahead of its time. Dare I say, Clarence Clarity is one of the precursors of hyperpop music. A couple years ago, he released Vanishing Act 1, which is an EP, and I thought it was okay. There's a decent song in there, but that's it. So I was still really very much hoping for a new Clarence Clarity album where he would either push pop music to a complete new territory or revisit the weird sound that he mastered in No Now. And unfortunately, I have to admit that he did neither on this new album. Okay, I need to drink a sip of water. What the fuck is going on with my throat? There are a few tracks that I like on this album. The first one being All at Onceness, which has these dense layered vocals, sappy chord progressions, muddy beats, everything smashed together in an incredibly ugly and cacophonous way, and it's still a legitimately catchy song underneath, and that's the exact formula that I really like Clarence Clarity's music about, with, for, that's the right preposition. The following track, To Be a Bad, for some reason feels like something that BTS would try all the time, sort of a revivalism of 90s R&B and neo-soul. But Clarence Clarity takes that to an extreme. It's super buttery and bright and colorful, with funky bass and strange dreamy chords. I absolutely loved it. And the track Playing Our Parts sort of does something similar. When I listen to the track, I feel like I'm being transported to a weird liminal world where everything's made of sugar and distant sad memories. But unfortunately, the rest of the album is kinda meh. It's bland, it's safe, and a lot of the hooks are pretty weak on this album. So we have The Greatest Living Musician Found Dead, which is a bit of a mess. We have some quirky, dry pop music and distorted guitars, which is a pretty interesting element, but that's never really explored all that well. Giuliano, So Cute, Low Key, pretty interesting track title. The vocals and beats are mixed together very sloppily, and the rhythm changes add to the mess that is the track. Rage Quitting Quietly feels like basic R&B with a tiny dash of eccentricity, but only a tiny dash. It just feels like basic trap beats evolved, basic R&B synths slightly evolved, and that's it. Old King, The World Moved On, has a bit of a groove to it, which is cool, but not much else. Deepest Sea Regret is another track that's pretty much standard to this album, and the album ending, Guinevere, is probably the only other track that I kinda like. We almost went back to that dreamy, sugary, surrealist pop earlier in the album. It's a bit unambitious for an ending, but I probably love it more if I was high or something. So yeah, I'm giving the new Clarence Clarity album a strong 6 out of 10. And then afterwards, I'm going to be talking about the new Machine Girl album, MG Ultra. Machine Girl, another artist who has very much lived off and thrived off from internet fame with his album Wolf Girl sort of blowing up on YouTube and becoming a bit of a sensation. Personally, I don't think Wolf Girl is a fantastic album or anything, but Machine Girl has made tracks that I absolutely love. Tracks that are this is a very tiring comparison. A lot of people compare him to Death Grips. That's not true. Machine Girl's music is a lot more poppy and watery and slurry and slippy and slippery. But nonetheless, his music has a more quirky side dance to it than a lot of the pummeling industrial electronic explosions that you may expect him to make. Now, earlier this year, we have Dancing in the Fire, which I thought was a really great single. That single doesn't turn up on this album, which is to this album's detriment, because there aren't that many great tracks here. There is a bit of a stylistic change here, in fact. Instead of harsh explosive sounds and poppy, instead of harsh explosive sounds, a lot of the tracks here feature poppy chords, shouts over harsh abrasive beats, which pretty much summarizes his entire discography. But there's something different about MG Ultra from the past Machine Girl work that I can't specifically pinpoint, and maybe it's just the simple fact that the track off of this new album is just not as catchy and not as energetic. Even in the more aggressive tracks on the album, it just doesn't have the same explosive, unapologetic energy that Machine Girl's music used to have. A lot of the tracks here just feels kind of safe, unfortunately. Maybe it's because I'm used to listening to noisy music, so I expected more from him, but unfortunately that's the case. I'm going to talk about the tracks that I like first, though. Until I Die has the atmospheric, entrancing beats, fun vocals, really loving it. New Meta Phenomena has the glitchy, dense synths that are fucking awesome. The third track, Sick, is just kind of annoying. The thing is, Machine Girl shouts in the same flow all the time. Ba ba da da, ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. And that's like the whole track, and he does the same flow over several different tracks, so for some reason it just feels safe. It feels inoffensive. For an average music listener, maybe this is like the harshest, most ear piercing thing ever, but to me it's just kind of basic for the genre. Another track I like is Mother Father, which is way more low-key. It feels like a deconstruction of a drum and bass beat, and I love the subtle vocals that are catchy and deep-fried and glitchy. I also like the last track, Psychic Attack, which is full-blown video game soundtrack intercutting with the most abrasive government plates type beat ever. Cicadas is another semi-interesting track, but only semi. It tries to do this hip-hop thing with the samples, which is cool, but it just comes off dry. Again, I wish Machine Girl has explored this a little bit further. Grindhouse is a straight party song with pumping dance beats. I love the watery techno beats, but it's missing the spice. I feel like it's missing a little something. It's missing a little oomph. So overall, not too huge on the new Machine Girl album. I'm giving this one a decent to strong 6 out of 10. Still not bad, though. Still not bad. So yeah, these are the albums I listened to. What are your thoughts? Comments below. Let me know. Subscribe if you want more. And thanks for watching. I'm late for a meeting again. Gotta go. Goodbye.